Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more Entitled People. If you enjoyed these story compilations, please don't forget to tell me in the comments, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. This one is titled, Think You Can Block My Car In and Claim Disability While There Is Disabled Space Available? Go for it. So my driveway is on the corner of my street and has recently had double yellow lines put on the road to stop people parking there and causing issues for buses, etc. As I was preparing to leave the house yesterday, I noticed through my door that someone was blocking me in. Doesn't happen that often, usually delivery drivers, so I opened my door to have a look. Middle-aged woman is locking her car door and walking away, so I told her that she could not park on the double yellow lines and block my car. So she proceeded to tell me that she had a disabled badge and was popping to the shops to collect a parcel. I explained that even with a disabled badge she could not park there and that I was leaving anyway, so she was blocking. I also explained that there is disabled parking at the shops. Now this is the point that really started the petty revenge. She told me that she did not want to park at the shops and wanted to park there, that she always parks there and that she can stay there for 3 hours if she likes using the disabled pass, and that if I take up any more of her time she will call the police before striding away from me. I checked the laws, which said she can park on double yellow lines, but only if she is not an obstruction and is 15 meters away from a junction, which she was not. So I decided that if she wanted to be that petty, then so be it. I got in my car and reversed it down my driveway until it was 5 centimeters away from the driver door. When she returned 10 minutes later, shops are a 30-second walk away, she asked me to move my car, to which I explained that I was trying to leave my house, but unfortunately someone was in the way, so I had to leave the car there. To finish this off, she had to call a member of her family to come down, go into the passenger side, squeeze over to the driver's side and move the car. As they did that, I thanked them for their efforts, jumped in my car and drove away. That's what you get for being an a-hole. And guys, please let me know in the comments if you enjoy these petty revenge stories or not. Me personally, I really like petty revenge because it is something that not many people read on YouTube and it is always satisfying. And the next one is titled Revenge in Front of Millions. Growing up in school, I was the victim of bullying. I was fat, nerdy, socially awkward, was well spoken, did not have the local accent and had no awareness of anything cool. I was God's gift to bullies. One thing which surprisingly I was not bullied about was that I had a severely disabled brother. On more than one occasion I actually had one of my worst bullies ask how my brother was doing. Strange how this world works. In one lesson I was sat with one of the non-bullies. I did not really know her that well, but she knew about my brother. For the entire lesson she was making nasty, derogatory comments about him and his disabilities under her breath towards me. I was in pieces and was so upset I could not even tell the teachers or my parents. This went on for a few weeks. Every time I sat next to her, I dreaded going to class. Before I knew it, an opportunity for revenge presented itself. Each year in the UK we have a charitable fundraiser called Children in Need, which raises money for disadvantaged children. I attended a support group for children who were carers for disabled siblings, and the group had been selected for a spot on national TV as one of the success stories. As I was well spoken, I was chosen to have an interview live on national TV, and one of the topics I was asked about was bullying. I could not believe my luck, so I named and shamed the girl who had been bullying me all those weeks. Needless to say, on Monday morning she received quite a severe disciplinary response from the school, probably embarrassed by the negative PR on national TV, and the bullies who has once been my tormentors made her life hell for a few weeks, at least until she eventually apologized to me, at which point I think we all agreed she had learned her lesson. Weirdly enough, I received very little bullying after that. I guess no one wanted to risk being named and shamed on national TV. And you know guys, I gotta say, bullying is a topic that is probably not discussed enough in schools. At least when I was in school, the teachers really turned a blind eye on bullying. And I'm pretty sure that my school was probably not the exception to the rule. Have you ever witnessed bullying in your life, either in school or maybe even in work life? Also, what I find interesting is that some people say bullying did not really exist like, let's say 30 or 40 years ago. Would you agree with that? I have talked to a variety of people in regards to this topic, and some say this is indeed the case, or at least the word bullying was not really as common as it is today. Maybe back then they just called it joking or playing a prank or something. Let me know your opinions on this in the comments. And the next one is titled, Woman tries to force me to give her my disabled niece because
I am too young to have a baby.
Physically tries to take her. Some background information: my sister, we can call her Jade, is 24 and has 2 babies with obvious disabilities, a fact that matters later. Her babies, we can call them J and S, J being 4 and S being 3. A few months back, my sister had a horrible car accident resulting in her needing hip, knee and spine surgery, and she recently had her hip surgery and needed my mom and me to help carry the babies upstairs to our apartment. Additional information: we live on the 3rd floor and we both have the top 2 appointments on the 3rd floor, so as I am unbuckling S from her car seat, Mom took J and Jade upstairs already. A woman walks up, let's call her EM, even though I know her real name, and says in the most annoying tone ever, EM,
excuse me?
Me, clearly agitated because it is cold out and S is crying, yes, EM,
is that your baby?
Me, I don't really feel like that's your business, as I currently lift S out of the car. EM,
oh my god, you clearly are too young to have a baby with such horrible disabilities.
My niece has Downs and was a preem baby, meaning she's about the size of a 1-year-old instead of a 3-year-old. Me, visibly angry now. F off! Slams the door and walks off as quickly as I can, with mid-January eyes on the sidewalk and a baby in hand. EM,
excuse me, give me that baby.
Insert part where she literally tries to kidnap my baby. Me, F off, you bearded triceratops. I have no idea why I said that, it just popped in my head and I was very angry at her, and then out pops angry grandmother from all of the commotion and yelling. EM,
how dare you, you're the absolute worst mother ever, you're probably the reason she's all messed up anyways.
Me calmly hands my mom, aka S grandmother, or Yaya as we call her, S, and proceed to trying physically harm said bearded triceratops with everything in sight, that also includes snow shovel. She runs off screaming stuff like,
she's trying to kill me,
and
she took my baby.
She called the cops and they showed up. We showed the obvious bruises on my disabled niece, making her charge of an assault on 2 minors worse because she assaulted a disabled child. She tried to turn around and said stuff like,
you took my baby and you tried to kill me.
So my sister literally gave the cops the birth certificate, and that was that EM got evicted and now has on her permanent record and assault of a minor and assault of a disabled minor, which I'm pretty sure she did jail time for, but I have not seen her since it has been like 8 months. I really hope I don't see her again. So we are clear, I did hit her with a snow shovel 4 times before she got away. I gotta say guys, I'm getting a slight sense of r/that happened here, but still a very interesting story nonetheless. And by the way, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. And by the way, please don't forget, if you are subscribed already, I would suggest to also click the bell icon to not miss any of my videos, because recently YouTube has once again suppressed my videos a little bit and did not show most of them to my subscribers. And the last one is titled, Best Man Brings Mistress to My Wedding, We Make Him Leave the State. Backstory and context: names are not real. I met Justin while working campus security at a local community college here in Iowa. My first day of work was his last day of work when we had a domestic call in the parking lot where a student had punched his girlfriend. The police were called and they took it from there. Justin failed to write his report and was let go. In the 12 hours of working with him, I found him personable, friendly and funny. We both liked off-roading, guns, hunting and other hobbies, so we became friends. Over the years of being friends, I noticed while he would give the shirt off his back to help another, he liked to embellish or just straight make up stories. My soon-to-be wife and I soon became close friends with Justin and his wife Larissa. Larissa was sweet, kind-hearted, soft-spoken, successful, and an amazing cook. After a few years, Justin starts to take a turn for the worse and begins lying about mundane things like things as simple as what he had for lunch, or how he saw such and such a band when he was deployed. The issue with this fantastic Navy experience is that he could never keep his job title straight. He would say he was a navigator, then he would say he was SWICC, and then something different. He would claim PTSD caused his lies, and we would just move on. Over time, my soon-to-be wife and Larissa became best friends, and she almost became part of our family in a way, as well as Justin. We noticed Justin was spending a lot of time with a member of our local Jeeps Club daughter. We will name her Billy, Tony being her father. The Jeep Club was a huge part of our lives, and we would do camping trips, road trips, off-road trail rides, and even obstacle courses. Billy was 17 and Justin was in his late 30s. They were constantly together, leaving Larissa to hang out with us. Justin went so far as to buy Billy her prom dress and was just very uncomfortably attached to Billy. Tony calls us asking if we know where Billy is, as he had not seen her since that morning and it was getting to be dinner time. We told him she was with Justin and they had gone fishing. Tony said he had stopped by the house and saw Justin's Jeep parked in the driveway, but no one answered. He pinged his daughter's cell phone and it showed it was at Larissa and Justin's house. Larissa went home and literally caught them in just underwear. Justin somehow explained it away and all was well. Mary and I quickly put Justin on our B list, but he was still said to be my best man and Larissa a bridesmaid for our upcoming wedding. As the wedding comes closer, Justin keeps going down a spiral and Larissa keeps forgiving and taking his word for it. A few days before the wedding, Larissa tells us that she cannot come to the wedding because she has to go pick up Justin's 2 kids from a prior marriage in Georgia. Mary was bummed but had a friend take her place so our wedding party would be even. It is wedding day and we are setting up and are very busy as we did the catering ourselves and the planning and everything. Justin calls me and asks if he can bring a +1 and I say sure, without really thinking about it. People start to arrive and everything is running smoothly until Justin shows up with his +1. We will call her Danny. Justin introduced her as a friend he met at work, but Mary and I know better. Trying to see if Danny knows she's being played, we ask where Larissa is. He says she's picking up his kids and will be back tomorrow. The only time Danny batted an eye was when he called her a friend from work. We move on and don't dive into it as we still have a lot to do. The wedding ceremony goes off without a hitch and we start the reception. It is open bar and good music, the usual wedding things, the speeches, food, drinks, games and tossing of flowers and undergarments. As the night goes on, Justin and Danny are huddled in the corner, however, we need Justin for his speech. We drag him out onto the dance floor and he tells his speech. Meanwhile, Mary is talking to Danny, asking her how they met, who they were to each other, and telling her about Larissa. Danny is shocked and quite pissed. We give her a stiff drink and the night goes on. Dancing and drinking is all that is left and the pictures start flashing. We take pictures of everyone including Justin and Larissa and including some kissing photos. The whole night we are sending these to Larissa via Snapchat. Eventually my aunt, mother and a few others confront me because they heard Danny is a mistress. We explain it is not our business, but we are handling it. This is not being good enough. The family confronts Justin and Danny and tell them to leave. As soon as they leave, I call Larissa and tell her everything. Onto the call, "Hey Larissa, it's Chris. We need to talk when you get back. We have some bad news and evidence this time." She asked if it is marriage ending or something else. I say marriage ending. The next day my Snapchat had a ton of screenshot notifications, all from Larissa, and Larissa calls saying she will be at our house in an hour. The plot and revenge. Larissa shows up in tears and shaking with anger. We try to calm her, but this is her moment to melt down. She tells us how he has not touched her in months and how they found out she cannot have kids, and since then he's been super distant. How he gets messages at odd times and won't check them when she is around. How she caught Billy and him but was too blind to see it. On and on she went about how he keeps getting fired from jobs, he's spending all her money on Jeep parts and cash withdrawals from ATMs. She runs out of fuel eventually and we ask what she wants to do. We veto her first answer for legal reasons, but we plot our revenge. We will take everything from him, starting with kicking him out with only the items he paid for with his money. We go to Larissa's house and change the locks. We gather up Justin's clothes and a few other things he paid for. I grab his PS4 and Larissa says no, she paid for that. We dump it all on the curb. The next thing is the Jeep he loves so dear. The Jeep being fully in Larissa's name, paid for by her, the parts added also paid for by her. We drive to the bar where he works and using the extra key we take the Jeep and stash it at a Jeep Club member's house, having filled him in entirely with what is going on. The struggle. Justin apparently was not going down without a fight. Larissa had stayed the night at our house and the next morning she calls us telling us Justin had broken into her house and taken all the electronics, some of the furniture and even pictures of the wall, as well as cut up the mattress and broke some pictures. He also took the remaining keys, including one to her Jeep. Larissa tells us she called the police but they won't do anything. I call my friend who's an officer and see if he could help. He's the same officer I asked about when we found out Justin was sleeping with Billy. At that time he said she is 17, an adult in Iowa, nothing he could do. This time he said they are married and both dwelling and have legal rights to their home. Unless he does something threatening or illegal, it is a civil matter. It does not take long for Justin to cross that like though. Larissa calls us and tells us that Justin just tried to steal her Jeep from work, but she had bought the club and locked it to her wheel. The Jeep ended up in traffic with the door wide open and Justin was arrested for it. Larissa finally got what she needed to get a restraining order and a breath of air as we moved ahead. Now we had taken his car and his house, but he was still in town, causing trouble for anyone he thought took part in this. The only thing he had left was his job, which we were sure he would lose on his own, but we needed to give it a shove. We had found his discharge papers from the Navy. Turns out he was a navigator and nothing more. It also showed he was dishonorably discharged. We make contact with Danny and she tells her side of the story and tells us she wants to get revenge as well. Larissa, who had full access to the cloud and had seen all the women Justin had messed with, reached out to all of them. 2 more were willing to join for the final move. The final move is to take his discharge papers to the bar, which prided itself on hiring veterans and supporting veterans, with all the women he had messed with and lied to, and cause a scene. This was partially ruined when the owner walks out and meets us all in the parking lot. She's not having it at her bar. We all tell her what he has done to us and that he lied when he applied to work there and handed her his papers. She reads them and hands them back. She says to stay there, that Justin will be out shortly and will need a ride. We wait and out lopes Justin, red-faced and clearly pissed. He starts yelling if we are happy that we have taken everything from him, that he's going to sue and end up owning Larissa's house. Larissa out of the blue says no, we have not taken everything yet, but we will if you don't leave. He laughs and asks,
"Oh yeah? You took my house, my car and my job. What is left?"
Larissa says, "Your kids. Now that you have nothing, you had better move back home, because if you don't, we will send everything to your ex and she will take you back to court, and without me to support you, you have absolutely nothing." We leave and find out he called his mom, who paid for a one-way ticket back to Texas. We still gave the information to his ex, but don't know what came of it. Hope you all enjoyed reading this. Hopefully it was a bit more clear and detailed. This is how we made a full-grown man call his mommy to save him. And wow guys, I gotta say, this was an incredible revenge story and this guy really deserved what was coming to him. And the next one is titled, "The Day I Made the House Shake Like an Earthquake." Hello Ripe and Ripe community, I hope you like this short story and I hope you all get a kick out of this story. So to start this story, I'm going to give a little background info. I have this long-term project / goal to break the world record for the world's largest rubber band ball, and at the time this story takes place, I had 15,000 rubber bands on my rubber band ball and it was around the size of a small basketball. I was 14 or 15 at the time, so it was a little hard to pick up and move the ball. And here you can see a picture of the rubber band ball around the year 2014 to 2015. This all happened in the summertime shortly after I got back from summer camp. My parents decided to have company over and had me and my little brother pick up the house and put everything away to the point where everything was spotless but also kind of bare. Where there should have been normal things that were okay to leave out, they had us pick up and put away. This is where the trouble started. My mom and dad both agreed and told me to take my rubber band ball upstairs to my room. I told my parents that this was not a good idea, but they did not listen and told me to do it anyway. So I slowly got it up the stairs and finally made it up to the top of the stairs, and right in front of my bedroom door, I turned away from it for a second to open my door and turned around in time to see it had rolled away. I could not reach it in time and it went down the stairs, bouncing down 2 or 3 steps at a time until it reached the middle step and bounced really hard, shaking the house before it bounced up and into the wall, almost going through both sides of the wall, and really made the house shake like an earthquake. My rubber band ball left a hole halfway through the wall. Surprisingly, my mom was not really that upset at all and did not seem surprised. My dad, however, was pissed when I told him what happened though. I had to learn how to fix the hole in the wall and my rubber band never had to go any stairs ever again until we had to move to a rental house a few years later. Currently my rubber band is up to 31,785 rubber bands on it. Last time it was weighed, it was around 99.6 pounds. It is more than 1 feet wide, and here the rubber band ball in 2019. I gotta be honest guys, at first this seemed like such an unbelievable story, but if the ball really weighs 99.6 pounds, then I guess it can really put a hole in the house. That is definitely an interesting hobby to say the least. And guys, unfortunately we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.